booties for black girl nerds.
Welcome in. Please say your name and outlet and we can begin.
Sure. Jeandra, LeBeauf, Black Girl Nerds. Okay, matching blonde hair for today. I'm into it. It's very cute.
I said, Megan, if you don't cut your hair and dye it blonde, I'm not interviewing with you.
And then
This show is over. If you don't, the table over, it's over.
You got to wear a blazer because I'm gonna have all the problems in the world if you don't.
And so this is what happened.
This is what happened.
Well, I thank you. I've gotten deep into season 2 already. I've got up to episode 7. So it's doing it for me. I love it. I like season 1, but season 2, we are really getting deep in our relationships with you guys and your relationships externally from each other, which are really, really incredible to dive into. And I landed on 2 themes: breaking down to build back up, and how our relationships evolve as we become adults and things change and all that. So beginning with you, Jerrie, for Ty has always been a live out loud, very confident, very focused, very highly evolved, but we get to see where that truly comes from. And when you look at the season 2 Ty and season 1, what would you say is the biggest difference between those 2 versions of Ty that we meet?
I think Ty got a big piece of information in season 1 that is causing her to self-reflect. It's the introduction of this Brandon character, right? And I think if he didn't come into the picture, then I think she would be able to go on longer, not addressing her hangups and her qualms about love and finding love and having true love, but also reconciliation. And so I think with him coming into the picture, she's able to see places where she's rigid, places where she can maybe loosen up a little bit, and her blind spots, because I think Ty does have tunnel vision in business, and it has gotten her where she is now and where she wants to be, and is getting her where she needs to be. And because she has that tunnel vision, the blinders are on to other things. And I think she just wanted convenience in season 1 and did find a semblance of love that was complicated. And now I think she really wants to go for finding love and being in love and being open to love.
And Meagan, over to you for Camille. That's a good segue about those blinders and how good friends can help us navigate. Sometimes it's too much, and other times it isn't when you have the right friend group around you. For Camille has a beautiful life, with, complications here and there. What is this period for her? A period of growth, self-reflection, dialing it back? What adjective would you describe this chapter in her life in season 2?
I think it's all of those things. I think in a lot of ways it's discovery. I think that she is truly discovering who she is, and she's discovering who she's not. And she's discovering what she may have thought that might not be exactly the true authenticity of who she is. And I think that she's also kind of like saying, okay, this part, no, this I get, and this I'm proud of, and this makes sense. And then this is like, oh, I didn't expect this from myself, And so I think that it's this whole season for her is about like revelation, clarity, growth, discovery, owning who she is, because sometimes you can discover something about yourself and be like, I don't really like that much about myself. I should work on that. But just owning it and just acknowledging like, no, that is how you move and shake. And this is the kind of thing. And this is the, whatever it is. So that you can now have the tools to move in that space. Is just being self-aware initially. And I think that's a lot of what her journey is this time. And then I think that shakes her life up in every way. Every choice that she makes and everything that she discovers completely shakes her life up.
For sure. I love how you guys pull a curtain back on even the most highly evolved have things that they have to work with, and still with the comedy. So I love that about this season. I laughed a lot. Thank you guys for your time. Have a marvelous season 2. I hope we get season 3 because I'm all the way in with you guys. So
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Yes, let's manifest it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you for your time. Thank you for season 2. I have already watched the first 7 of this season, and it is. I had a good time. And just seeing the deepening of our relationship as viewers with all of you, and watching how friendships and adulting and all those things can alter and change the course of friendships. Shoniqua, beginning with you, I thought a lot about your character, Angie, and how a person who is free and lives out loud can be intimidating to some, can be threatening. People want to shrink it down. So what would you say is the biggest difference between the Angie we meet in season 1 and the Angie we meet in season 2?
I think the Angie in season 1 is someone who was still battling with that, but had honestly taken a moment where she let it freeze her. The idea of like not being able to fit in this artistic world the way she wanted to. It kind of gave her, there's a fight or flight. And I think she spent so many years fighting that finally she was like, I'm just going to freeze. And you see her just kind of alter her artistic identity in a sense with taking roles that she doesn't believe in just to work. And I think in season 2, you see how that really affected her spirit and needing to go back to the source of who she is, to get back reaffirmed, to build back that space and plug in to who she is and kind of remind herself why she did this in the first place, how she's looked at in the world, in the space that matters most, and uses that confidence to go on and like launch even further into the world, still just as bold and vivacious.
I like that theme throughout the season. There's a lot of breaking down to build it back up. Grace, for Quinn, you have performed really beautifully this season, like just the depth of emotions and the things that we learn about Quinn during this season. With adult friendships, a lot of things can change, and sometimes it can be, people want to keep that magic of that youthful friendship that we had when we were in college, but life takes over, and with life, other things reveal themselves. For Quinn, is this a period? How would you describe this period for Quinn? Is it growth? Is it self-examination? Like, what is the internal looking in for her for this season?
I think it's all of those things. I think it's self-examination that leads to a certain level of growth. I think also it's a level of being. I think that Quinn is used to doing, and I think that she's used to showing up and performing and being what other people want her to be. And when certain things kind of take her off guard and surprise her and shock her and reveal themselves to her, it pushes her into a place of just kind of sitting there and just allowing things to happen as she goes through them. But it's just about being present in these moments and allowing herself to feel the feelings and allowing herself to ask the questions, and to go through all those emotions of healing, which is very cyclical instead of linear. And so I think that when she does that and she allows herself to do that, and her being open to that gives her a space to then move to the next level of growth, I feel, in her life.
They are wrapping me. I had so much fun. I was in here at 1:00 last night. I had a really good time. Thank you, ladies, for your time. Have a marvelous season. And here's to season 3.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy, for your time. This is a wonderful season, and I'm happy to talk to you about it.
Thank you. And I love this color on you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There were 2 themes that stuck out to me during the season as I watched all the episodes: building people, tearing people down and building them back up, or people tearing themselves down to build themselves back up, and how friendships evolve as we deepen into our adulthood and our other life responsibilities and just the overall directions we want to take, beginning with the tear down to bring back up. Why was that something that was compelling to you to focus with all these characters after we spent season 1 really falling in love with them and knowing who they were and what they brought to the friend group?
I think because it was real life and it was kind of reflective of where I was at the time and a lot of the writers. And what I mean by that is like, you can have like these great moments in life and then you finally feel like you're on the right path and then suddenly something knocks you on your feet. And I think in the pandemic in particular, that's just been the new norm, is that, you know, people can lose jobs suddenly. You know, you can like make an impulsive decision to buy a house and then hate it and like want to leave. You can like have a relationship like suddenly like unwind. You can have just all these different things were coming about, and people were talking about just like extreme highs and lows. And yeah, we just wanted to kind of tap into that because it felt disingenuous to have just a completely light season given where we are like in the world right now. But we still wanted to make sure that there was fun and levity and good stuff, because I still want the show to be like escapist and like a guilty pleasure. But I didn't want it to be so light that we're not acknowledging that there's some struggle going on in our community too.
Absolutely. I like how it's sprinkled about, you know, there was never a point where it felt like preachy to me, but I felt like I was listening to my homegirls and their life situations. And even in the midst of those topics, this season is really funny.
Oh, good.
Like, last season was funny, but this season really made me cackle out loud a number of times throughout the season.
Oh, great.
With the evolution of friendships, we see how they all react to these tribulations that they face. When you look at all those, are they all a mixture of all the writers? Where do you say each person draws their coping abilities?
Yeah, I would say I take it from writers, I take it from myself, and also one of the things that I did a lot of work on the past couple of years in therapy was dealing with my inner child and like realizing for the first time that a lot of the patterns that I'm repeating in present day were started when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And like the examples of love that I had, the examples of how to deal with stress, the ideas that were kind of indoctrinated all started at that point in my life. And so now I'm as an adult trying to like unpack some of those things and change the narrative and break the patterns. But that's where I felt like I wanted to like delve into their family stories in season 2, was because that's really how we become who we are. Like, we don't really like think about it from an emotional point of view, but how we deal with life, like the decisions we make, the people we're attracted to, you know, sometimes we have toxic people that we can't break the cycle, or just decisions that we make that keep us stuck in these ways. And so I was like, let's kind of like pull back a little bit and learn about their families and how maybe they got here, but let's not do it in like a heavy-handed way, but like let's just kind of like get to know them a little better than we did in season 1.
For sure. And then one day you wake up and you've turned into your mother.
Yes.
It's not
Yes.
one of those aha moments during this season. They are wrapping me. Thank you so much. I really, really enjoyed this season. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on season 2. And I hope you guys get season 3, because I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerds. Better shake your booties for black girl nerds.